Yo, what's up, everybody? This past Thursday, I had the privilege and the honor of interviewing Professor Akil Parker of All This Math, and he talks about everything from how math affects us, throughout our lives, tutoring children as well as adults. Okay, this man has created something very special and something very important. I hope you guys enjoy this interview. All right, appreciate you for tuning in. But first, I just want to say, appreciate you for coming, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back, man. I appreciate you sharing your platform. You could have had a lot of people on here tonight, but you chose me.
That's right. That's right.
You
Yeah,
know.
because Will Smith had hit me up, and Kendrick told me about this new album he finna drop, but I told him not. I had to push out to the side real quick. But yeah, man. So yeah, so this is what your third, fourth time on this.
Something like that. Because one of the times, well, it was a couple individual interviews, but then me and brother Patrick was on here. Patrick
That's
from
right.
in case anybody isn't familiar with brother Patrick Lumumba from down in
Right.
Mississippi, from the Black Liberation Movement. You
That's
know,
right. Yeah.
we had a conversation about electoral politics that time, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And so, if you guys don't know, he is an esteemed author, as you can see right here. Okay. This book right here. Yo, cop this book. It is on Amazon. Can't see it. How to use all this math. How to use
Volume
all this math.
Volume One, and
Volume one.
that's
More
Volume
to
One.
come.
That's the first in the series. So
More to
Volume
come.
Two should be out. Yeah, Volume Two should be out this fall. The outline has been done, but I just need to sit down and focus up and start to develop each of those topics because each bullet point in the outline is a different topic that will be a short chapter in Volume Two, similar to how chapter one. I mean, how Volume One is set up. Volume One is set up like that, where each topic is just like an everyday activity that where what I do in the chapters, I show you as a parent, grandparent, uncle, auntie, whoever, um, how you can leverage that activity that you're already doing anyway and just make it into a teachable moment and a math lesson, whether it be a arithmetic lesson, an algebra lesson, a geometry lesson. So that way your children can be prepared for math class. If you're a parent and you haven't been as proficient in math in your own experience, I want to ask that from this moment on, as you hear me say this on this podcast, to not tell your children that you're poor in math, that you're deficient in math, or at least not tell them. At least if you tell them that you've made a concerted effort and a commitment to develop your math skills. Because a lot of times when children hear their parents say, well, I wasn't good at math either, the children take that as the justification to not even try in class. They say,
Right.
well, my mom ain't good at math, my dad ain't good at math. So like, I'm saying like it might be in my DNA. They start thinking
Right.
that.
Right.
So, treat your math deficiency if you have it. Treat it like one of them secrets, some things that, it's treat it like it's grown folk business,
Right.
that your kids don't got to know, and,
Yeah.
if they do find out, then at least let them know that you're not good at it yet. Use the word yet.
Yeah.
Just let it be known, like, that you are trying to get good at it because you're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? Because we can't trust the schools to do that work. Like we can't trust, and the schools don't have the capacity to make your child a math scholar all on their own for the most part.
Okay.
Crowded classrooms, 30 students in there, 25 students in there, maybe 30 plus sometimes, and different learning styles that students have. Your child might have a different learning style from the teaching style of the teacher because a lot of teachers, especially when they're early career teachers, they're young in the game, they come into the classroom really not really as prepared as they should be. And
Yeah.
that's really through no fault of their own. They rookies or they're in their second year. And a
Yeah.
lot of people teach the way that they learn. So their teaching style is really just an adaptation of their own learning style.
I was working with my daughter on her math today. She's dealing with greater and less than when it comes to numbers.
Okay.
Now, when I
Yeah.
was a kid, I was taught, with that 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 symbol.
Mm-hmm.
right?
The sideways V.
Right.
That's what I call it.
That's the alligator's mouth. I remember like it was yesterday. They told me it's the alligator's mouth. And the symbol. Now, what me and my wife was going back and forth on was because she Googled it. I thought the alligator's mouth. I thought the teacher told us the alligator's mouth is what eats up the lesser number, but it eats the
Other way,
bigger number.
yeah, other way around. It eats the bigger number.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that
I forgive me.
the alligator is greedy. The alligator wants to eat
Eat the
do the
bigger.
most. Wants to eat the bigger number. Yeah, alligator wants
Got
to
you.
eat the
Cause
bigger number.
and see, parents out there, look, I was out there. I was frustrated at my child because I was like, nope, this is wrong. You got most of these wrong. Yeah. I said, the teacher, did your teacher talk to you about the alligator? She's like, yes. I said, yeah, the alligator's supposed to eat the bigger nut. So I asked my wife, I said, baby, make sure I'm not tripping. Is it the alligator eats the smaller number, right? And she looked it up. She's like, no. She's like, it eats the bigger number. I said, that ain't what my teacher told. But I'm 41. I'm 41 years old. So she Googled. I said, okay, what is it? I guess yeah, you got most of it right. I was putting my baby through it, because I didn't know what I was talking about. That's part of the reason why you have to learn, because you're going
Gotta
to run
learn.
across some teachers that are going to make sure with every fiber in them that when they send those kids home with that homework, they know how to do it. It's on them whether they do it or not. But you're also going to have some teachers, right, that whether the class is overwhelming, the class is packed, she's not able or he's not able to have that one-on-one time with each child, and your child may be sent home half-ass taught with her math. And that's
Hmm.
why it's important that you know how to do it,
Right.
right? And sometimes you never know. You may have to find yourself correcting the teacher. The teacher might be teaching it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's always
That,
best to
that,
be well equipped with that, because I know none of your kids' teachers are gonna get nothing past you when they come to math. I know that for a fact. Yeah, it's gonna be a cold day in hell before they get anything past you. But so yeah, that's why I say it's very important. Um, how long have you been doing this? As far as with all this math, how long?
so officially, I started the company in 2017 officially,
Okay.
and then I went full time with it because we just started out just doing math tutoring, doing like private math tutoring. Because as a math teacher, you always somehow end up, as a side hustle doing private math tutoring anyway, because people always ask you, to help their kids or, with this subject, or can you do some SAT prep or something, you know. But yeah, I kind of went full time with it in 2018 when I left the traditional classroom setting, and I was, up the Philadelphia school district, So then I was like, let me try this over here. Let me try to just do some individualized tutoring on a regular
Yeah.
basis, have more control over my time and, my energy and also, but I was teaching on the college level at that point too. Actually in 2018, after 2018, I was teaching on a college level. That was my first semester teaching at Cheney as an adjunct professor. Cheney University, the first HBCU, but
Yeah.
not the first degree granting HBCU. I believe that distinction belongs to Lincoln University, which is also in
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Um, So I started teaching at Cheney, and I also was teaching in a night school program for adult learners. And and you brought up something that's very important. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of people that I do. You might have seen some these virtual math chats that get posted on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a sister down in North Carolina named Lanisha Boone. She's a math coach, and a brother named Dana Harris, who's also in North Carolina. He's a math teacher. He's been teaching for a long time, like me. We both vets, and we get together and kind of have these conversations. We call them virtual math chats, and it's kind of like professional development. It's kind of like math therapy, if you want to think of it like that. But
Yeah.
and it's really geared toward parents. It's not even geared. I mean, it's cool. We say a lot of things that teachers will benefit from too, but we're really gearing it towards parents because parents are largely left out of this equation.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
um but what you brought up about doing the work with your children, with your daughter, and even if you got it wrong, like what I'm saying, like you were wrong, but that's okay. A lot of parents don't want to do the work. They don't want to do that because they don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to be wrong, just like your child got to be willing to be wrong, because they got to like experiment and figure out if this is the way to get the answer, or if this is the right way or that's the wrong way. Because of course you guarantee you're not gonna get it wrong if you don't even try, and that's what a lot of children do. They just sit in
Right.
class and don't do nothing, right?
Right.
And then parents do the same thing. So what you're doing by trying and working with your daughter is what we want to promote. We definitely want to promote and encourage more parents to do that. Like, work with your children, even if you get it wrong. Go online, look up resources. I'm partial toward my YouTube channel. I think my YouTube channel is the best out there. So,
That's right.
you know,
Facts.
check out my YouTube channel, for a
All this
resource.
math. All this
Yeah,
math.
yeah. But but it's a lot of resources out there, that you can tap into,
Yeah.
but parents got to be willing to like sometimes like learn with your child. Like it's like a collaborative effort, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like a fear. Like some parents feel like if they sit down and try to do some algebra one with their child and they get an answer wrong, then their kids gonna start talking about like giving them a curfew or something, or like telling you to take out the trash, something like I mean
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
got to ask them permission to drive the car or something like that. I don't know. Like I think that's a fear, irrational fear that some parents have. Like if we expose weaknesses, like we can't expose weaknesses around our kids. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, but yeah, we got to get over that because we can't help them if we can't learn. We should learn with them, right then and there. And you also said something else that was interesting about the fact that just the fact you mentioned that your daughter has homework. Like I think that's a good thing. A lot of schools aren't giving homework, and a lot of teachers aren't giving homework, and
Yeah.
they come up with all these arguments and these like justifications and go through all these mental gymnastics and claim that there's research that substantiates this claim that homework doesn't help. And I'm like, huh? Like y'all, and I think a lot of these people that that say these things, I don't think they really understand statistics. I don't think they really understand how to
No.
analyze data for real. Because you can't tell me that like practicing math is not going to help you excel and become proficient at math. It's not
Yeah.
like it's with anything. It's just like with sports. Like you got to practice. You got to practice, and it's
Yep.
it's so math is so nuanced and there's so many details, and you just got to do. You got to put the time in, and you got to put the effort in. So if you say, "Well, nah, I'm not giving them homework," like, well, when they going to practice? Like, because in class is not enough. It's not
Yeah.
enough. And
They
then especially if we talking about us as black people, now all things being equal, I might could rock with some of these arguments about the lack of need for homework. But we black folks, we are behind. Like
yeah.
it's like it's the fourth quarter and we down by
Yeah.
50. Like we
Yeah.
we got we got to go hard. We got to do some. Even if you think it's irrational or you think they shouldn't have that much homework, relative to our situation, or if we're realistic about our situation and our position as black people in America or just in Western society in general, we have to play catch up. And we got to finally, decide that we want to win and stop playing around and stop being like what the brother from Little Brother say, like we don't like black people don't want to win. We just want to look good while we losing. Like we got to
Yeah.
stop
Yeah. I know
being
what you're talking
content.
about. I know what you're talking
Like
about.
if
Yeah.
Fonte say that, like we gotta like, or the other brother, you know what I'm saying, like from Little Brother, we got to stop being content with losing and just trying to look good, you know what I'm saying, trying to fake it, you know what I'm saying, while we losing. We got to decide that we want to win and then do what's necessary so we win. And our kids need to win, and our kids need to be doing homework. They need to
Yeah.
be practicing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I heard that same line on White Man Can't Jump when Woody was getting on Wesley Snipes saying, yeah, you're fine with losing as long as you look good doing it. You rather look good and lose than look bad and win. As far as the homework side, it's like teachers are trying to train the kids to do what I was doing on my own when I was in high school. Because when I was in high school, homework was mandatory. Like not getting homework on a Friday was like, the whole class would erupt because we was so sick of homework, right?
Right.
But I think what they're trying to teach the kids now is learn just enough to pass. Don't learn to retain. Don't learn to
Yeah.
carry it
Yeah.
with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
that's the sad part. It's like because I mean, obviously they're just trying to create little robots, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. And like I said, that's why I feel like your channel is very, very, very important, especially for especially for the parents, because like I said,
Yeah.
we're responsible. We're the responsible. And the kids are not responsible to learn this. We are, to make sure that they're learning it and create a healthy environment and an encouraging environment for them to want to learn.
Yeah.
I think it's because like my daughter, my 9-year old Jordan, she'll if she hates being wrong, she will get frustrated. She'll start crying. She'll shut down for when she gets
Yeah.
things wrong. When she's right, it's all good. But if I tell, hold on, yeah, double check this one right here, and it's like after the second or third mess up, she starts to shut down and she'll get frustrated, and you'll just see the tears coming. And I'm like, babe, are you doing this in school? And we'll talk to the teacher. She won't do it in school. It's just something about when she's home, and I think it's more so of she don't want to let us down
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do gentle parenting. So she ain't scared of no belt or nothing. That ain't even coming in her head. My wife
Right.
got us
Right.
doing gentle parenting. So I guess it's more so of a thing of her letting us down, and we've been working with her on that. Because like I said, today was a humbling moment for her, and she kind of was looking at me like, like when I was wrong. You know what I mean? So but it's cool. It's dope. It's dope. And like I said, I learned something new today. For the longest, I thought the alligator ate the smaller number, but I was dead wrong. Okay, okay. But
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So how many do you have a lot of tutoring sessions with parents, or have you had any?
Where parents wanted to get tutored,
Yeah.
um, not for their children's content, just parents that might have been in college or
Okay.
were going back to school to get a GED or something like that.
Okay.
But I definitely would be open to that. What I'm really trying to do more of, I've done a few of these in the past, but I want to do these more consistently. Is I want to do what I call new math parent workshops. And I don't
Okay.
like the term new math, but it's like one of them terms like where like this is what people know. It kind of caught on, and it's a misnomer. It's not a real thing. Like because
Yeah.
the math is not really new. Like it's a conceptual approach to the math that we were taught 30 years ago and 35 or 40 years ago. Like with the hystematics teaching framework. So
There you
with
go.
hystematics, I use Black history
There you
and
go.
African history to teach math. So I might create a word problem or just an arithmetic question that where my sum or the difference when I subtract two numbers or the sum when I add two numbers might be 1,791, and I do that on purpose so that way then we have a conversation about the significance of that number because that date was the year when the Haitian Revolution kicked off,
Yeah. Yeah.
1791. So or we could use the number 1804, create a problem where 1804 is the answer or is one of the numbers in the problem. One of the factors if we multiplying, one of the add-ins if we adding. 1804 is the year the revolution ended. So
Yeah.
just a lot of ways we can manipulate numbers to tell a story and have our children and the mathematics at the same time you know
Yeah.
um and these are just things just and you so I incorporate that in the book too. So if you look in the at the end of some of the chapters, every chapter doesn't have practice problems, but in volume 1 that you got on your shelf, a lot of the chapters do have practice problems. And I incorporate the hystematics teaching framework because I'm talking about like let me think of an example. Oh, if we like it's a chapter on deciding, and again this is personal finance, right? So even
Yeah.
personal finance is in the book because math is personal finance. Financial literacy, it is math. It's all algebra, right? Like deciding whether we should drive somewhere or fly somewhere, like doing the calculations, doing the analysis, like all
Yeah.
right, is it going to be cheaper to rent a car and pay for gas and all, and then drive, or is it going to be cheaper to just get plane tickets for everybody, get plane
Yeah.
tickets and then rent a car when we get there, or take Ubers or Lyfts when we get there, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But doing the mathematical analysis to be able to do that, and in the back of that chapter, I'm offering like practice questions like, let's say your family is trying to go to this destination, or like, they want to go to Atlanta, birthplace of Martin Luther King Jr., or they want to go to Chicago, you know,
Yeah.
birthplace of Fred Hampton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you thinking about, these places in a historical context, but it's really these are math problems. You know, so
Uh,
that's what systematics is all about.
what you just said right there is very important too, because like I said, part of the hystematics, what you was talking about, how you reference things, right? Like how you just something simple like what you just said, like, hey, y'all want to go to Atlanta where Martin Luther King was born, or hey, you want to fly to Chicago where Fred Hampton was born and raised, like just simple things like that. I say, man, I say I've been told you hystematics was dope. It's dope. And like I said, how your point of reference is. So I can only imagine how knowledgeable your children are. Just having simple conversations and how you reference things, right? You had no choice but to learn something.
Yeah. So
So would you
to that point, if I could throw
go
this
ahead?
in there,
Go ahead.
um, I didn't really notice that about myself until it was I took me and my daughter, we took my son and his girlfriend out to lunch one day. Well, his ex girlfriend. They don't. I don't even know if they talk no more. But
Yeah.
this was a few years back, and my son told me that after, because we went our separate ways after we, ate lunch, whatever, and then they went to the mall, and me and Asada, we went on our own way, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but then my son was talking to me later about, the lunch and everything, and I was like, did she enjoy herself and everything? She was like, yeah, she enjoyed herself, but what she said was, she was like, Dad, Nassim, your dad turns everything into a lesson. And I was like, cool. I was like, that's what I like. I'm glad
Yeah.
she noticed that,
Yeah.
because everything is a teachable moment. Like
That's
everything
right.
is a teachable moment, because we gotta, like, especially with our children, like, because there's so many, it's little subtle things like you just mentioned, like it's little subtle things we could say, we could bring up, just to, like, highlight just certain things, and
Right.
you never know, like, if what somebody's gonna remember. And if
Right.
you don't say it, they definitely not gonna remember it because you didn't say it. But if you
Right.
say it, you just drop somebody's name, or, like, drop a location, of a, where a person lived, or where this place was established, or where this place was founded.
Is tutoring like some people can't necessarily afford the tutoring. So with your
Mm,
YouTube channel, right? How you break things down and listen, y'all. He breaks it down. He breaks it down to the foundation. Okay, and he don't skip steps. He
mm.
don't skip steps. But do you like with your YouTube channel? How can they navigate in it?
So you can search a topic. So
Okay, a topic.
when I first
Okay,
started the
got you.
channel, I was trying to figure out the most effective way to organize the content. And because initially I was, because a lot of people ask you, like, if your child's in sixth grade, then they say, well, do you have sixth grade math?
Yeah,
Now that gets tricky, because in one school district, sixth grade math might look like this. Another school district, sixth grade math might look like the seventh grade math in another school district.
right.
So, and also there's a whole lot of overlap. So the way I decided to organize it is by topic. So
Okay.
if you know the name of the topic, then you should be able to find a video that's connected to that. Like last night, you said you was working on comparing numbers, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I may have a playlist that is entitled, um, maybe operations with real numbers, or comparing numbers. It might be. I'd
Okay.
have to look.
That sound
I got a
right.
lot of playlists on there, but
Yeah.
the goal is for everybody to be able to just, as long as you know the name of the topic, as long as you know, like, what it's called. Is it solving linear equations? Is it
Right.
graphing linear equations? Is it factoring quadratic expressions? Is it using the quadratic formula, Pythagorean theorem problems? Like, as long as you know the name of the topic, then you should
Yeah.
be able to type that in. Once you're in the channel, type that in, and then
Okay.
go for it. And the thing about the channel is, you know my teaching style is a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, if anybody watching this, like, I'm not like your typical math teacher. You know what I'm
Nope.
saying? Like, I'm like, because this is the way I understand math, and when I read one
And
of
it's
those
in a good way
textbooks.
though. In a good way.
Yeah, yeah, like, I got to translate it myself in a language that I understand. Because, like, the textbook language, I don't really like that language. I mean, I get it and I've learned it,
Yeah.
and but I got to break it down. So the way I break it down for myself is the way I break it down for other people when I'm teaching live, and when I'm on the channel. And I'm real conversational. It's like, bro, come on, we about to do this, and all you got to do when you see a problem like that is like, whenever you see a problem that look like that, make sure you remember this, and make sure you always divide, and don't forget that that's really. And I emphasize the fact that math is a language. It's like a foreign
Yeah.
language. That's what trips a lot of people up. They
Okay.
don't think of it in the context of, oh, this is like a foreign language, because math has a lot of symbols and a lot of like hidden numbers. Like if you just write an x, the variable x on a piece of paper, right?
Right.
That also means x to the first power. That also means 1x. That also means x over 1, right?
Okay.
The reason I know that is because I know the language. But those are things that parents have to learn, children have to learn, so they'll understand the language, right? Because it's a
Yeah.
lot of like hidden, you know, symbols and numbers, because you don't have to write all that. Like, it's kind of like how we text message with emojis. Like you can communicate an idea with an emoji, whereas before the emojis, you might have had to write out a sentence with like 10
Right.
words in it.
Right.
But now you can just use an emoji. So algebra is a lot like that. Calculus is like that. Pre-calculus is like that. So they're using symbols that have information embedded within them that might not be written. But your job as the math student is to learn the language of math, so you'll know, okay, yeah, so this is the same thing as that. Okay, I dig it, right?
Yeah.
Like x is the same thing as 1x, right?
Okay.
Or negative x is the same thing as negative 1 times x. When you just see a negative sign in front of an x.
Yeah.
But you in terms of knowing the language, if you know the language, then you're gonna know that. Um, so yeah, like when I talk and when I teach math, I'm like a brother on the corner. Like I might be standing outside the Chinese store or something,
Yeah. You
hanging out.
said that. Yeah.
And I just I talk about math in that way because that's really who I am. And so I just speak about math in a way that is natural to me, and I think that makes it more relatable and easier to understand and to digest. This elder, he said that to me. It blew my mind. You ever had like a conversation with an elder or with anybody, and they just say something that's like it like hits you with like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Um, this elder, Baba Wakesa Mazimoyo down over in Atlanta. Him and his wife, Afia Mazimoyo, they run a independent school, an online school called the Aya Institute. And one day I was talking to him on the phone, like maybe, and this might have been like 8 or 9 years. Was it like maybe 8 years ago or whatever?
Okay.
And we was just talking about math. And at the time I was trying to connect with him to see if I could like teach at his school on his campus. At that time, I wasn't able to. He didn't have an opportunity for me, but I ended up teaching at his school last year,
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Taught like did some SAT prep, for the young brothers and sisters online. And but during this conversation, like 8 years ago, he was like, you know what, brother, we got to take math back. And I was like, oh shit, because it made nobody had ever said that to me, and it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because then I seen the parallel. I was like, all right, I remember studying Sheikh Anta Diop and Theophilo Benga, and them going to like UNESCO in 1974, and basically because the Europeans was trying to say, all right, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. If we can show respect and pay homage to Egypt and ancient Egypt, then okay, cool. We'll acknowledge the advancements and the ancient civilization and all that. But this is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna give credit and act like it was part of Africa. So so if we acknowledge Egypt, ancient Egypt for what it really was, this is like the compromise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna tell the world that it ain't part of Africa. And they
Right.
was like,
It
nah, we're
ain't
not about to
black.
do that. We're not about to do that. And
No.
you know what I'm saying? So essentially, these scholars through their work, unfortunately, I guess, had to take Egypt back and say, nah,
Yeah.
this is pseudoscience. This is not real. This is like false. This is false history. You know what I'm saying? That these Europeans are trying to meddle in or peddle in or whatever. And we got to take Egypt back. So when he said we got to take math back, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. Our ancestors developed all this.
That's right.
It's just that it's
That's
been
right.
marketed to us, and we don't write a lot of the. We don't write the textbooks, and we don't control the school districts, and we don't
Nope.
control the curricula. So they're able to just come out and say, "Look, this is this," and they like you because you could call any formula in any math book anywhere. You can call it whatever you want, but they got
That's true.
together and
That's true.
decided, and it's not in a way we should respect it because what it is it's in Guzo Saba is day number two. It's Kuji Chakalia, self determination. They decide, they determine for themselves. Listen, we're gonna call this a Pythagorean theorem. We don't care that Pythagoras went down to ancient Kemet and studied under some black folks for 22 years. We don't care about that. He came home, so we're gonna name it after him. And but the thing
Yeah,
is, it's like that's cool. Like if you want to tell your children that, you know what I'm saying. But the problem is they tell our children that.
that's
So
right.
then our children don't know
That's
where it
right.
really comes from. But that's where we come into play. We gotta let our children know a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's African. That's us.
Yeah,
We did that.
and
You know what I'm
and
saying?
that
So it's like so when they do
go
that
ahead.
real quick. So
Yeah,
when we start doing that, then the young brothers and won't just be thinking like, well, shit, I'm black, so I'm either going to rap, sell dope, or play basketball.
right,
Maybe football.
right.
Like nah, like my people did math. Like I'm supposed to be doing math too.
And I just want to drop this stat real quick for those who maybe still be on the fence or not aware of how important math is and how far behind we are. So, according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the NAEP, only 6 to 12% of Black, Hispanic, or American Indian Alaskan Native 12th graders scored at or above the proficient level in math, compared to 33% of white students.
Hmm.
So
And
and
see,
they
and the
go ahead.
thing is with that, like, so here's where the whole like the achievement gap gets called into question because when you think about relatively, we're doing horrible like compared to the white students, but even the white students, only 33% of them are proficient, so they're not really winning either. It's a
Yeah,
lot of them like are being like socially engineered to do the menial labor and not be able to compete and not being able to develop themselves as critical thinkers because that's what it's really about. It's really about
yeah,
like think about math that a lot of math teachers don't know and a lot of people don't know and don't understand is like the real purpose of math is to develop your critical thinking ability. That's the real purpose of math, but it's like hidden. It's not surface level. That's not superficial. That's not a superficial thing. It's almost like we're working out. Like working out has a lot of benefits, but if you do cardio, run on the treadmill, walk every day, that's going to be good for your heart health. But you can't see your heart. You can't see your heart benefiting. So you
that's
might
right.
think like, yo, this ain't benefiting me. Like you see a benefit in something if you start losing weight, if you
Yeah,
start like you realize like damn like these pants don't fit as tight as they used to, you know what I'm saying, like
right.
so you see you it's a tangible benefit that you can observe, right? But the things that you can't see, you be thinking like something's not helping. Like math is like that. Like by doing math problems, you are developing your ability to think critically and to solve problems. Just like so then your child will be in a situation where somebody come to them, some some friend or cousin or whatever talking about, yeah, we should go run down here and do this. And the first thing your child should be thinking, hold up, wait a minute. Do this make any goddamn sense? Like, what do you? Because
Yeah,
your child's brain should be working in a certain way where they're doing an analysis.
right.
Okay, you're saying we should do this. All right. So if we do this, then what's going to happen? What are the potential consequences of us doing this? Right. A lot of people don't think like that. They just get an
That's right.
idea. They're like, "Yo, this feels good. Yeah, we should do that." Or they heard somebody else did it. Right. Not even taking into consideration that other people that did it, the environment they was in might have been different. The circumstances for them might have been different. They might have had a different background. They might not have been subjected to the potential consequences that these people would be subjected to. All of that type of thinking and consideration is mathematical. That's what math really is. But we don't get taught that and we don't get told that in the math classroom because a lot of teachers don't get educated that way.
I don't know if you remember what you said. I hope you do, because we talked about this before. When you said at the summit, last year's Building Power Summit, when you were saying that the reason why they don't want you to learn math is because you'll learn how to solve the problem. Once you're able to solve the problem, you become their problem that they have to solve. Is
Mm-hmm.
that is that around in the ballpark of what you said?
Understand this. For every problem that you have, there's somebody benefiting from your problem. So this is why you can't learn math, because if you learn math, then you'll learn how to solve the problem. And if you solve the problem, what you've done is you've created a problem for the person that was benefiting from your problem. because now they've lost their benefit. Now the tables have turned. So this is why you can't learn math.
Yeah, because what I was saying is like once you solve the problem, your
Right.
problem that they're benefiting from,
There you go.
now you have created a problem for them. Because let's say that the persistence and the maintenance of my problem is worth $300 million. So on an annual basis, $300 million annual basis. Now I solve the problem. So now how you gonna get that 300 million? Now I just created. I just basically we collectively by solving this problem, we just took 300 million from them. Now they can't profit no more. So
Yeah.
that's so and my belief is like kind of like how so similar to how like Elijah Muhammad told Malcolm X. He said of all our studies, history is the most equipped to reward our research. I look at math as like math is the most equipped to reward our ability to solve problems.
I'm gonna run this back, and I'm gonna write it down, and I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put it. I'm gonna frame it, and I'm going, like how they have those quotes by Martin Luther King and all our other ancestors, prominent ancestors who have that slogan, that line. I'm putting that up on the wall, and I'm gonna say, put Akil Parker, Professor Akil Parker under there. But that because that is a dope line, and that's what it pertains to math. Like that alone should be like one of your main slogans. What you end with or what you start with any presentation, any conversation you have, because that's it like how you spoke to before when you was talking about someone they dropped something on you and made you like, damn.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you said. That's what that did to me when I was sitting there at that summit last year, and I was because I was recording it, and you dropped it. I was like, damn, because like you said, like
yeah.
you saying, we're so behind, right? Like they're shooting threes. They chef
Hmm.
they chef currying threes, and we still working on our free throw shot at the free throw line.
Yeah,
We still
yeah,
working on our shot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we got some making up to do. And like I said, uh, whatever they're doing, we got to do it times two, times three, times four, times five. I know you got a flight in the morning. But tell everybody where they can get your book. I said it before earlier, but let them know where all they can get your book at.
yeah. You can grab the book on Amazon right now. The book is available. How to Use All This Math, Volume One, on Amazon. $34.95 currently, while supplies last.
That's
I mean,
right.
as long as Amazon's cutting down trees, and supplies will last. But but yeah. So definitely, grab the book. It's a teaching tool. It's a resource guide for parents, grandparents, anybody that has young people that they care about and that they want to win. And I'm really trying to show you. And I'm also trying to help adults get over their own fears and trepidation over mathematics. I'm trying to help y'all do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because we gotta get past this.
Yeah.
We got to get past that academic trauma that some of us experienced. It wasn't your fault. It was
Right.
probably poor instructional practices. Teachers that had some issues, a school system that didn't want you to win anyway. Maybe you didn't have a conducive learning environment, a nice, quiet, comfortable place at home to study and practice. A lot of things, but we got to get past that now for the benefit of our children, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, our little cousins, our godchildren. We got to get past that. So
Right.
yeah, definitely grab a copy of the book, grab a couple copies, tell people about the book. You know, buy them early for Kwanzaa gifts or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's only September, but yeah, but also check out the YouTube channel. YouTube channel,
Right.
like the YouTube channel is really my baby. That's my baby. The YouTube
It's
channel.
growing. I'm
Yeah, I'm
watching
over
too.
over 5,000 subscribers. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's moving. It's moving. The word is getting out slowly and steadily though. The YouTube channel is really, I want that to be the place to go because like all this, we spend so much time having conversations, and the media loves doing this. Talking about, oh, the test scores are this way, test scores are that way. Again, we talked about this already. Like the problem is low test scores, but the problem is beneficial. Who benefits from that problem? They trying to maintain this problem. I'm trying to solve it. And
Right.
a lot of people, unfortunately, we got to be honest. A lot of people make a lot of money talking about problems and not really offering solutions. They're alarmists. You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Clark said that about what's his name? damn, I can't even remember his name. Al Sharpton back in the day. He said Al Sharpton is a great alarmist. Al Sharpton, the type brother. The building is on fire.
Jesse
He want to
Jackson.
like stand outside, tell everybody the house on fire. It's like, bro, go get some water. What you doing?
Yep. Yep.
Put the fire out, bro. Like, but he
Yep.
want to stand out there and tell everybody it's on fire. Nah, I'm trying to put the fire out. Y'all
That's
can sit
right.
around here and talk about, oh, look at that. Look how high the flames is getting and everything. Like, bro, I'm about to get buckets of water. We're going to do what we got to do. We got to put this
That's
fire out.
facts.
I don't got
That's
time to sit
facts.
around here and fist fuck around with y'all. Like, y'all standing around and talk, oh, look how smart I am. I actually saw that there's a fire right there. Okay, cool. We all see it's a damn fire. Put the damn
Yep.
fire out.
Yeah, so for all the, I should have said this at the beginning of the video. For all the smart asses out there, we're like, hey man, ain't this a political channel? What math got to do with politics? Well, with politics you get political science.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no such thing as science or politics without math.
Mm-hmm.
It's no such thing, right? As you watching CNN, MSNBC, ABC News, all these other mainstream news, what are they showing you? They're showing you polls. They're showing you percentages of communities, of ethnicities, all types of numbers thrown in your face. It's math, baby. It's math.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know your math, you don't know what the hell they talking about. Or you're fully dependent upon them for them to mislead you.
Just approaching a problem like that, that's a mathematical process. That's a mathematical process, like, filtering out information and trying to understand, okay, well, yeah, it's like, because again, in a math equation, if we're doing some algebra, if we say x equals 5, but then you plug in the 5 and you do not get a true statement, you get like on one side of it and you evaluate the equation, and on the left side it says 58 and on the right side it says 42. 58 don't equal 42. They're not the same thing. So
Right.
therefore that answer
Right.
is incorrect. So we look for contradictions. So in the SAT, you would assume that they would only highlight positive figures and positive people. But once you know your history, then you're like, oh, but he was a slaveholder. So how could he be a great man? How could he be positive?
Right.
So therein lies the contradiction. So now you're looking at things mathematically now because you're questioning what you see, and you're like, and I want children to do this especially because then it helps them to make a valid assessment and a judgment of the society that they live in. Because here it is, it's like, that man is on the quarter piece, that man is on the dollar bill, that man
Yep.
got streets named after him all over the country. George Washington. You got high schools, middle schools, elementary schools that black children walk into every day, right? So that means that there are people that believe in the validity and the sanctity of that person, but that person didn't respect my ancestors as human. Would it traded my great grandmother for a barrel of molasses,
Right.
right?
Facts.
So
Facts.
I know that. So our children got to know that. So we got to be like, whoa, something ain't adding up. Something ain't adding up. It's all mathematical. So when we start thinking mathematically about everything, a lot of the stuff that we go for, we won't go for it, because we'll start looking at it like, nah, this ain't it.
That's right.
Nah,
That's right.
this ain't it. So everything is math.
Yeah.
Everything is math. I want all people to understand that everything is math. But damn, I don't want to say everything because I got to come back next month. I got to make sure I got something to talk about next month.
Yeah. Save it. But yeah, hey, with that, y'all, we out.
Peace.
The forgotten part.
My fellow citizens,
It is strong.
It's my duty to report
The true problems of our nation.
We vigorously developed this resource to be of great benefit.
Where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
I will be eternally grateful for your support.